Pick out.
Probably the man sitting over there, Gerard Huller, first of all, who gave me my chance at this level.
Coming in from the left, Owen is in space, Fowler hangs on, and scores! Would you believe it?
Today. I think it was a great game of football. I'm so happy, so proud for the fans. So I'm so pleased for the boys. I mean, we could have let our head go down, but we showed character just as against Arsenal. I mean, I don't know how they go and get the energy from.
Ladies and gentlemen, based on the film, allow me to invite up here Mr. Gerard Huller, who is a football coach. He is the assistant to the head coach of the national squad in France. In that position, he won the World Cup in 1998. He coached in top competitions in France and in England.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you for, I didn't understand everything you said, but it looks a bit embarrassing. I've got mixed feelings standing in front of you here today because I feel happy, proud, but a bit worried. Happy because I'm going to talk about something that I've lived and enjoyed. I still live and enjoy it. And on top of that, as I say, I'm going to share it with colleagues, with most of you are coaches. And don't think that everything is corrupt in France or in football because of your video, which I thought they were a bit biased. Maybe because you were made the hospitality by the people from ice hockey, but anyway, that's a joke. I feel happy, I feel proud because I feel it as a privilege to contribute to your 2015 International Coaching Symposium. And I hope that my friends, the Czech, won't regret their choice. And I feel, talking about the Czech, I must have a word about the fact that in my career, I was blessed because I had the opportunity to have Czech players in my top teams, and they were top men. Fantastic. Great person, great personality, and also great players, winners. whether it was Smither, you call it Schmitzer, Berger, or Barros. They were all good men. And as I said, I was happy. I'm a bit, obviously proud, but also a bit worried because we, together with Danny, we come here as the kickoff of this international symposium. And when you're a coach, you don't want your team to miss the first game, and you don't want to miss the start of the game. So I hope this kickoff will be good enough for you to feel full energy for the rest, for the coming ones. My keynote speech is about winning teams, about getting better within the team, what makes the team win, what makes the individual within the team work together and deliver more and better. That's the aim. I was often asked if there is a recipe for success in football. Well, there is one actually. Maybe it's the same in ice hockey. You score one more goal than the opposition, and usually you are declared the winner. So you understand there's no recipe, because you don't score always one goal more. There's no magical trick, there's no miracle, I would say. But in order to create a winning formula, a winning habit, you need a number of ingredients. And when the ingredients are there, all together, when you have all the things I'm going to talk about, with the majority working together, then you have a good chance, a better chance of winning, like France in 1998, the World Cup, like Chelsea lately, I would say, Liverpool, when we won 5 trophies on the trot, Arsenal, when they were on the unbeaten run. Anyway, this is what happens when all the ingredients are together. At this stage, I must say that because of the time which is given to me, my speech will be like a miniskirt. So I can see some of my brows already. That is to say, long enough to cover the subject, the essentials of the subject, but short enough to draw your attention. What are these mystery components? What are the ingredients? Now, this talk, as 1 year before Liverpool, between Liverpool and Lyon, I had a sort of a sabbatical year, and I did a bit of TV. And the chairman of a big TV company in France asked me from day 1 to day 2, tomorrow we have a meeting with 500 people, all the employees of the channel. Can you tell us what is a winning team? And I said, hang on a second, this is for tomorrow? Yes. So I put down about 20, 25 elements which I thought were important to win. Obviously, I'm not going to bombard you with 25 elements, ingredients. I made a selection, and this is, normally coaches don't like to give the selection right before the game. I'm giving you mine, and this is how we start. So the number 1 is goals. Well, I'm sure that you hope that I haven't come from Paris to here to tell you that we need goals to win. No. It's to compete at high level, you need to have a vision. This is very important, a project. You need to have also a philosophy. But the most important thing is, when I say goals, obviously, is because I started with the goalkeeper, but you need, really, this is important, you need to have a vision, and this vision is determined by the top man, by the manager, or by the coach. And don't be afraid to think big. I very much like this American saying, aim for the moon. At least if you don't reach it, you'll land among the stars. So this is very important. And another element is please remember that the more the vision is shared by everyone, the more chance you have to achieve your goals and to reach the target. In other words, it's not only you and your staff, it's the players, I would say it's the secretary, it's the board, everybody needs to share the same vision. You are on board for a project. This is important. People perish without a vision. So the vision goes with objectives, with challenges. That means it goes with, and I very much like this Chinese proverb, which says, when one has not decided where to go and how, one has little chance of getting there. This is an interesting one. When one has not decided where to go and how, one has little chance of getting there. And this is where we're going. This is your team. This is where we're going. This is where we want to achieve together. This is the first ingredient. The second one, for the second one, I may appear a bit old-fashioned, but in saying that, but the second one is work. To succeed, you need to work hard, very hard, with discipline, consistency, on a daily basis. I mean, work is not a disease. Sometimes it's important to remind that, but success is probably, this is a key ingredient, because success could be due to 95% transpiration and 5% inspiration. 95% perspiration, 5% inspiration, which is 95% work, hard work, 5% talent. And talent without work, you know, is nothing. So that means working with a spirit of sacrifice and working with a real will to progress. It is important to make your people understand that they will become better and progress. It pays off. I mean, you remember the free kicks of Beckham or Platini or Zidane and so on. I had a player in Lyon, I mean, a free kick around the edge of the box was nearly half a penalty. He was so skillful in taking the free kicks. So one journalist asked me one day, I mean, how can he do that? What does he do? I said, you want to know how he does it? Come at training on Thursday. So he came to training on Thursday, opened the door for him, and he could see that the boy was rehearsing and repeating, you know, what he had to do practically 50 times after the training. That means when you work on something, it pays off. I'll give you a true anecdote. In, I think it was in February '99, my first year in Liverpool, and we were playing against Arsenal at Highbury, and at that time when you play Arsenal at Highbury, you play practically most of the game in your own half, because they dominate you. So you accept that. Anyway, 20 minutes to go, there was a through ball from Patrick Berger, by the way, Czech player, through ball from Patrick Berger to Michael Owen. And Michael Owen gets the ball, comes back on his right foot. The ball was slightly on the left, so he sort of cuts back, gets on his right foot, takes his shot, goalkeeper saves it. Fortunately, it was really a 1v1 opportunity to score a goal. We finished 0-0. An Italian game, as I say sometimes, you know, because when the opposition is too big. Anyway, so I didn't speak to Michael that day or 2 days later, but 1 week after, I said, come here, Michael. I mean, you know that about 4 or 5 times in the game, you'll be in that situation in front of the goalkeeper because you are fast, quick, and clever, and you use the right move. Why don't you use your left foot? Oh, he said, boss, I'm good with the right. I said, you're right, you're good with the right, but if I'm a defender, I try to stuck you on to get you on your left foot because I know you're not going to harm us. Or if I'm the goalkeeper, I know that if you come on your right foot, the angles are not the same. Oh, no, it's okay. I said, well, we're here to make you progress. We're here to make you improve. If one day you decide, you change your mind, you decide you want to become better with your left foot, not a problem. We're here for you. 3 weeks later, he said, boss, can we do a bit of left foot shooting? So obviously, don't get me wrong, he's gifted. So we do a bit of dribbling, a bit of shooting, volleying, and so on. And in May 2001, which is practically a bit 50 months later, we were in the cup final against Arsenal again. We were battered, but 1-1, 5 minutes to go, through ball from Patrick Berger again, the same ball on the left, and he was slightly there, got the ball, control, immediately left foot, back of the net, on the side of the back of the net. Score, 2-1, you win 2-1 in a cup final 5 minutes before the end. It's a good step forward to win it. So he celebrates the goal, he makes the leap and the loop and so on. Everybody comes. And then I can see him running across the field, coming in front of the dugout. He said, "Boss, left peg," which means everything. I worked, I was rewarded. That's, to me, it's a very telling element of how if you work, at some stage, it always pays off. Strangely enough, the harder you work with an aim to reach quality and excellence, the less tired you are. That's interesting. It's not to a footballer, it was to a famous golf player. Some of you may play golf and they know. And somebody said to a famous golf player, "You are lucky." And the guy replied, "You're right. I've noticed that the more I work, the more luck I get." This is interesting. The more I work, the more luck I get. Anyway, we all know that it's only in the dictionary that success comes before work. With work, I refer to the ability. Now, to the ability, to the aptitude that we have. Here with, I would say, attitude, I refer to I would say, the way you are going to behave to get the best of yourself. Attitude determines everything in life, I can tell you. Everything, for everybody. It determines how good use you're going to make of your own talent. Everybody's got a talent in some way or something. To make the best use of it, you need to have the right attitude. That means you need and I would say that the base of the relationship in sports is on that, is how teammates work really with the right attitude. It means not being afraid of taking responsibility. It means stay focused. Stay focused. You can use and you can also reach the best of your talent if you stay focused. It means being serious, reliable, committed, respect towards the club, sorry about that, towards the teammates, because a lack of good attitude deteriorates a relationship. A lack of commitment, lack of responsible attitude, lack of discipline, that leads to failure. Remember, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. You cannot win with people who are too selfish or people who don't care. You can't have a winning team with people who don't care. So there's, your progress goes through that. To be a pro, it doesn't mean you have to. There's a wave. Let's hope it's a wave of success. It doesn't mean that you cannot, whatever, even if you're not a professional, be a pro in everything you do. And that means having a sort of a good combination. This is all about sports, a combination between ambition and humility all the time. You need to have both. I was asked one day, what would you say to a player? I said, I always ask my players to be as good as you can be. Don't say, come on, let's go, and so on. I don't like that. Be as good as you can be. Finish the game with no regret. Give everything. The fourth one, I'm sure you'll like it. With more performance and work harder and get better results in a good atmosphere. Everybody contributes to that psychological environment. The players, the staff, the manager, the president of the club. I believe in sense of humor. I believe in having a laugh sometimes. It's a great weapon to fight stress. We're living in a difficult, sometimes in tensions and so on. I think the curative power of laughter and the sense of humor has been underestimated. I like people with a good mood, as opposed to moody people. You may, probably it's the same in ice hockey, but it happens in football. You may have sometimes come across people who've got that outstanding, amazing, scaring capacity to never be happy. They're never happy. And worse, they show it. This is worse than everything. Passion is the key word. It's infectious. It's contagious. It goes to the others. Smile on your face. Funny, when I ask a lot of professional players at the end of the career, they say, we like the coach when he has got a smile on his face. And, sometimes coaches always pulling a face all the time. This is, show your enthusiasm, because it communicates to the others. And let me tell you something. In the capital of Europe, in a big club, there was a coach, and the coach, his team would win even 3-0, and he would go on TV and he would pull a face and would say, oh yes, we won, but we didn't defend well enough, but we know, and he had a foreign accent. I'm not making it. So what happened? The result went down, 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 down. They appointed somebody without experience. I think they could have appointed anyway a caretaker. It would have been the same. But they appointed somebody who got a smile on his face, put a bit of faith in these players. The result went up again, and they finished 5th. So that gives you an idea. It's nothing great in life is achieved without enthusiasm. It's not me saying that. It's a philosopher called Hegel. Nothing great in life is achieved without enthusiasm. So you need to find a balance between fun and seriousness, between enjoyment and discipline. All I can tell you is that you coaches, and like me, in our job, if we're not fired with enthusiasm, they will fire you with enthusiasm. Stay positive. This is the last man of the defense. You got to be careful and beware of the moaners and the groaners. The people who are whiners and moaners, never happy, as I said. Some people at work can be professional demotivators. And I mean it, really. They can pull your morale down. You've got to be careful with the environment of your team and of yourself. They are what they call bad news carrier. The French FA used to have 7th floor, the former headquarters. And one morning, in the morning, if I sometimes arrive at 8 o'clock in the morning, there's some people waiting in front of the lift. Oh my God, I forgot something in my car. Because if you go 7th floor with people who are negative, who say, do you know the last one? Do you know this? Do you know that? It kills your day. It kills your day. Be careful. Always make sure that even the environment of the team is positive. Life is too short to dwell on people's shortcomings. Live with the qualities. There was a French film, it says that after the age of 40, you don't change the stripes of the zebra, if you see what I mean. That means once the zebra has got the stripe, when a player is an adult, a senior, you won't change a lot. So make sure that you live with the quality. You emphasize the quality. You tell them what they're good at because it gives them confidence. And the confidence is very important. You put aside the flaws, the deficiency, the shortcomings. I mean, I was a very young coach when I won the first title in Paris. The following year, you always want, as a coach, to be perfectionist. You say, oh, okay, maybe this one could defend a bit more. So I told him and asked him, can you replace yourself a bit quicker and so on like that. Now, I was wrong. Now I can tell you, because I instill in the mind of my player, particularly that player, something he's not used to do. And in fact, he wanted to please me. And to please me, he was thinking of defending before attacking. So he was obsessed by the fact of doing what I asked him. And it killed practically the creativity of his job. So you've got to be soft and careful with adults. You won't change a lot of things, I can tell you. You can change for a month, for two, but not forever. I mean, I had another player in Liverpool who was always using his left foot. And I told him, I said one day, why don't you use your right foot? You know, and it's somebody else different from Michael, and it was Norwegian player, very good, top class. And I said, John, use your right foot. At least you control, he will help you, and so on. Boss, I will do. So in training, he started working on his right foot. But I didn't notice, because he was using only his right foot. He wanted to really improve his right foot, and he really forced it, really. And one day in training, he pulled his hamstring, he pulled his groin. He pulled his groin for 3 weeks. That day I understood. Leave him as it is anyway. But we like to criticize. If he buys a car, he buys his car, he's my friend, he comes, oh, look at my car. Oh, how much did you pay? Oh, fantastic car. The rims, a bit cheap, huh? Not that good, huh? We like that. We all like that. Maybe here, I mean, you are on this symposium, and you probably have a wife or a partner, or both. If you think of the qualities of your partner, maybe you think, oh my God, I hope this symposium wouldn't last too long, because I'm keen to go back home, and probably be in front of my beauty again. If you think of the flaws or deficiency or shortcomings or problems you have, hey, hang on. The seminar can last long, huh? We can even have a drink on the way back. No rush to go home. It took me some time, this is a joke, but it took me some time as a coach to understand the high value of staying positive. Stay positive, and asking your people to do so. I mean, it's so easy to focus on the negative things, so easy to criticize. Keep away from that attitude and ask your people to do the same. Keep away from that attitude because it has two reasons. One, which is important for us coaches, one, efficiency. It brings people to be more efficient. And two, happiness. You're more happy, in being more positive. So when I sometimes, we have a problem in club, I said, don't talk about it. Let's talk to the people. Sometimes instead of talking about the people, I said, talk to them straight away. This is an important player. As humans in general, we don't like changes. Adaptability, it means you question yourself. You're not satisfied with what's going on. Even if it's going on well, In fact, you try to, what we say, se remettre en question. You question yourself to try to be better. Change, although unsettles us, it can break our pattern. It can give feelings. It can give rise to feelings of insecurity. It can destabilize sometimes. When I came to Lyon, first game, first friendly, the central back, the center defender, passed the ball to the other center defender, and if he's pressed, pass it back, and then long ball, and they would play on the second ball. And I say, hang on, I'm not going to stay my contract in having that sort of football. So I said to my staff, we need to change the style, because we won't win anything. He said, no, we were champions. I said, well, yeah, okay, we went champion, but we can be champion in a different style. We can be champion in enjoying ourselves, playing a different type of football, not skipping the stations and just building up from the back and so on. We have the quality for that. If we didn't have the quality, we have the quality. But it was difficult even to convince, because you have to convince your staff and your players that would change the style. That a collective, obviously aim and target. And I like the word, the American word, adapt or die. Adapt or die. Everything keeps changing. Everything has changed and keeps changing. The relationship, your relationship, I mean your children, if you've got children, the children with you and you with your parents, there's always a difference. So the parents and children relationship has changed. The teachers and the pupils, the relationship has changed. The relationship between the boss and the firm and the employees, the relationship between the coach and the players have changed as well. Technology has brought a lot of changes. I mean, if 30 years ago in front of you, I would be using a flip chart. Then probably 20 years ago, it would be the hoverhead projectors, we call the hoverheads. And now it's a PowerPoint presentation. I mean, the secretaries have adapted a lot to the new technology. You have to accept the changes. At the moment, I'm imagining the same in ice hockey, everything is analyzed, everything is practically cut through in different sequences. You know what you've done. You come at halftime and you practically can see what happened and you can change because there's match analysts and match video and so on. You've got to accept the changes for the better, even if it doesn't work at the beginning. Even if you want to change the style of play, keep it, and even if at the beginning it doesn't pay off. But in periods of transition, of change, to move on, empathy is needed between the leader and the team members. This is important. When you want to change something, you need to have more empathy between you and your players, or between you and your staff. You have to explain why, probably show more understanding. Anyway, those who can adapt have the future, hold the future in their hand. This one is also important because the road to the top is not a smooth one, is not an even road. It can be extremely rocky. And competitiveness is really, really important. To succeed, you need to overcome problems, setback, tricky situations, and respond positively in adversity. You need to overcome adversity. That means you need to really, sometime when you fail, maybe it's a new step forward. You have to understand that sometimes you need to fail to win. But you need to have people and make sure that your players are winners in the mind. And sometimes you have to develop that a bit with them. But to be a true competitor, to be a true fighter, I would say, and this is an important saying, the will to win is as important, if not more, as the skill to win. The will to win is as important, if not more, as the skill to win. And true competitors show that aptitude. The will to win, the will to win as much as the skill to win. in bouncing back from setbacks. The true competitors always bounce. If I have to say one thing, talent bounce back. Talent always bounces back. Many firms were down. Adidas were down at one stage, they come back. They show resilience. Coaches, I mean, Aimé Jacquet was sacked from Bordeaux in 88. He was sacked from Montpellier. In 90, was sacked from Nancy in 91. In 98, he was world champion with me. So I would say Arsène Wenger was sacked from Monaco. He went to exile in Japan. He came back to Arsenal. See what he's done since. So players, like managers, sometimes their career is down. You have to explain that talent will bounce back. At some stage, it will come back. And to be a true competitor in any walk of life, you need to have that sort of fighting spirit. In any walk of life, whether it's social, whether it's professional or family life, sometimes we have setbacks, even family life. Let's take an example. You lose a game. You lose a game, three attitudes. One, the one lab there doesn't like me. Whether it's God, Allah, or whoever, he doesn't like me. I'm not in his books. He forgot about me. Two, second attitude, it's because of the pitch, because of the wind, because of the coach who picked the wrong team, because of the tactics, because of the referee. Usually you're right for the referee, but you can't say it. But sorry for the... Anyway, happens. The third reaction is shut up. You just say that next time when the opportunity comes, I won't miss it. Next time when the opportunity comes, I'll be there and I'll give my best and it won't happen again. So in other words, when competitiveness means you're bound to knock against the wall, sometimes to lose a game even if it's unfair, even if you feel that maybe you shouldn't have lost, like France yesterday against Czechia. Maybe one goal was offside. You know, I mean, one day we lost 6-1, and you lose 6-1. Somebody, well, how can you lose 6-1? I said, yes, but the fourth one was offside anyway. Anyway, too many people complain about problems that happen to them and for which they are paid to find the solution. You know, they are there to find the solution, but they come to you and try to complain. Before I go to communication, I give you exactly 30 minutes break to breathe, to time out, 30 seconds, sorry, 30 seconds. No, because I've got to, 30 seconds, whew, just 30 seconds. You stay on the spot unless there's an urgent technical pose to have. Otherwise, you stay there, and I'll see you in 30 seconds. Okay, this is an important player despite the age of emails. This is an important player despite the age of email. To tell things, and particularly in this modern era where you have more to convince people. I mean, in the old days you could say, well, do this, or do what I tell you to do, or do as I show you and so on. This doesn't work anymore. So to tell things, to listen, require skills. You must not like the husband who teaches his wife how to drive, and before she touches the gear stick, he shouts at her. We've all done that a bit at some stage. I have, regarding listening, this is a true experience. I was the coach of a big club. We had won things, and one key player had lost his place with us and with the national team. And one day, he was on the treatment table in the, in the doctor's room. Everybody had gone. Everybody had left the place, the training facility. And I was alone. And I was just walking through the facility. And I saw him on the table. And I was leaning against the wall, talking to him. And we talked for about 45 minutes about everything, his life, his family, his problems, and so on. Then I took my car, and I physically stopped the car. I said, how can this be? I spent a year and a half with that player, and I learned more about him in 30 minutes talk to him, privately, practically, and formally. And do you know the player had a big worry in his mind? First of all, because he had a big illness when he was young, and he was fearing that he would come back. Second, he wanted a new contract. He was at the end of his contract. He was, he would have been what we call a boss man. He wanted a new contract, but we club, we didn't want to go too early to him, thinking if he gets our offer, then he will go to different clubs and try to sell himself. So in other words, we were reluctant to go to sign him a contract. We wanted to sign him because he was a top player. But he thought that we didn't trust him, and he was worried because he has just divorced, and he had a mortgage to pay, and he had some pension for his first wife and so on. Can you imagine the breakdown in communication? And I called the chairman, when I came back, I called the chairman of the club and I say, you come tomorrow with the contract, it will sort out practically, I would say 80% of the problem, which it did. Of course, the health problem was sorted, but nobody knew about the health problem. So he told me, he confided me. And I went to him and I said, do you allow me to help you on that? He said, yes, boss, I didn't know how I could do that. So in fact, listening is very important because it gives you sometimes some clues to why is he not doing so well and so on. Usually there's some problems behind. It doesn't mean that you say to a player, okay, I want to see you tomorrow at my office, then we'll talk. No, it doesn't work that way. Then you'll be in front of an oyster. They won't open. You need to find ways sometimes, when you pick up the balls on the, help me, can you help me to get the balls or to put these things away and so on. But you need to find different way to, in fact, put him in a good position that he can say things that really matter. Of course, it must matter, it must be important. Regarding communication, just a few things. Blame the action, not the author. Blame the action. The past is poor. Your past can be better. It's different to say you are poor, or you're a poor player, you're hopeless, you're a yard dog. You can't say the whole week, you're poor, you can't play, you've no skill and so on, and then on Friday put your arm round and say, come on boys, have faith in you, come on, tomorrow we win with you. No, you can't. This doesn't work. So when something is wrong, blame what is wrong. You don't behave properly. Don't say that you're a stupid bastard and so on. No, don't say that. But you can say you can be better, you can apply better. Second, beware of undeliberate favoritism. Beware of undeliberate favoritism. I'll show you. What's your name? Matt. Daniel. Pablo. Can you take this ball, Pablo? Well done. Good catch. Excellent. Daniel. Yeah. Can you do better? Oh, yeah. So the three did the same. Here, I encourage him. I congratulated him. Here I was indifferent. Here I had a go at him. Maybe he didn't deserve it, but sometimes. You've got to be careful. When you live with people, you sometimes don't know that you can have some kind of undeliberate, unconscious favoritism. Okay? I'll show you something different. Look. How are you today? Okay? Good. Yeah. Be careful, because they notice. They notice. So, you know, I had an assistant coach who was a great guy. And he would forget, I mean, he would call players, he would say, Matt, Daniel, to some, and to the other one he would call it by his name. So when he was in the dressing room, shaking hands, sometimes saying Christian names, sometimes saying just surnames, then as soon as he walked out, some of the players say, hey, you're not his son, huh? He doesn't like you, huh? Hey, this is typical. Be careful, because the players notice the details. We sometimes forget about that. You can't call some players by their name, some by the Christian name. The mission, that's another thing. The mission must be clear, very clear, particularly in times of change. This is what I want you to do. This is what I expect you. This is the way we're going to play. But very important. And in that case, make sure that they understood, they were focused enough when you give the instruction. Avoid the negative expression. I had an assistant coach in Liverpool, fantastic guy. The players would come in the dressing room at halftime. He would bombard them with negative things. Don't drop, don't chase the game, don't risk at the back. So I told him, I said, why don't you tell the players what to do instead of what not to do? I said, that's clever. I said, yes. Because in saying what not to do, you instill in their mind that they could do wrong. Tell them play high, tell them play safe, tell them keep the shape, and so on. He changed, by the way. He changed that. That was easy to change. Avoid the soft expression. I'll try if I can, if it's possible. I had an assistant who always said, we'll try to score a goal. I said, no, we don't try. We just do it. We just go for it. It's very important. If you say we try to pass the ball, try to pass the ball. No, you don't try to pass the ball. You just make short passing. But you have to be extremely committed in what you say. Just imagine particularly at this stage, imagine you're on a plane and the pilot saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelt. We'll try to land this plane as safely as we can. Be open, very straight. We in sports of high level have rumors amplified by the media. And in a firm, it's sometimes I call it corridor radio, but in football, it's the media. In Liverpool, the first year I was there was a big page with 8 players and their head into the guillotine. They always think in France that we are still with the guillotine. So you've got to deal with that. You've got to tackle rumors, information. I gather the players and explain, because it leads to a lack of concentration. It can debilitate. It can really weaken your team, and it can lead to a waste of energy. When there's a wrong atmosphere, bad atmosphere, tackle it immediately. And also, I can tell you that people are more prepared to bad news than no news. It's better to say, this is what's going to happen, than no news. It's like in a plane. You always have been in a plane, had that fantastic experience. Mind you, I admit they've improved. But you're in a plane, sitting, plane on time, doesn't take off. 15 minutes, doesn't take off. Another 15 minutes. You can't find the hostess, you can't find the steward, you're sweating, you say what's going on, there's technical fault and so on. And sometimes it used to be like an hour and a half because somebody says, well, you have to get off the plane because we can't take off. Now they've changed a bit, but all I can we're more prepared if you say we take off in 15 minutes. That's what they do now. We take off in 45 minutes. We are a bit delayed because of this and that. But they know now that it's better for the passengers to know, what happens exactly. Another thing about communication is accessibility. Very important. Extremely important to have an open door policy. There's nothing, particularly in periods of transition, in periods of change. Because suppliers, they need to know, there's nothing more annoying than when the boss is not there. The boss is in a meeting. The boss is on the phone. The boss says he cannot be disrupted and so on. Be careful with that. It can be extremely demotivating. They need to know they can have access. Class is accessibility. Authority. A team to be successful must have a leader. And the leader is the one who leads, show the way. I'll tell you a true anecdote. I was a coach of a second division team and also the coach of a teacher in the High School of Commerce. And in the staff room, one of my friends said, don't bother about football. He said, what are you doing exactly? Because you're becoming popular. I want to know what you're doing. So I explained, I'm coaching a team. I'm taking into account the strengths and the weaknesses of the opposition, my strengths, my weaknesses, and we play a game. And of course, we try to put problems to the opposition and so on, and we try to reduce the problem we can have. He said, in fact, you are a reducer of uncertainty. Only a philosophy teacher can tell you that. He was a philosophy teacher. You reduce the uncertainty of the game. I thought I would gone down my chair when I heard that. But in fact, it's true. I think the leader is the one who, in fact, has the anxious side of the game with himself. The rest, he reassures the player by his competence, by his knowledge, how to play, how to put problems to the opposition and so on. So maybe if I have some trade unions against me, any kind of organization must have a boss, a leader, one who decides. It's part of the deal. I'm sorry, if a teacher comes in his room, if you come to the training and say, what do you want to do now? What do you want to do today? This won't last long. Maybe 2 months they'll be happy because they'll say, well, 4 aside, 5 aside. So you need to have somebody who decides where to go and how to go. Remember, the one who makes people pull in the same direction. Remember the Chinese proverb, when one has not decided where to go and how, we've got little chance of getting there. Well, people don't follow those who don't know where they're going. So you've got to have this kind of hierarchy, authority. It doesn't mean dictatorship. It doesn't mean autocratism. No. It means to get people together, at some stage you need to have, I would say, a common objective which is led by someone. I had a very famous engineer in one of my teams when I was in amateur, top-level amateur, and I was I said, this is what I want you to do, this is what we want to play and so on. I told him one day, I said, are you a bit worried or a bit upset by the fact that I'm very straightforward in what I want you to do and so on? He said, no. He said, no, please, coach, keep that, because he said, it gives us a common way to go together. In fact, he said, it's unifying. We know what we have to do. And then, of course, we adapt. So the leader gives the way, reduces the uncertainty, and also makes people progress. Team pride. All teams that wins are proud and have players proud of the effort and of the shirt they wear. You've seen that on TV. When they score a goal, they kiss the badge, and so on. This is, usually they do that in front of the tribune of honor. Usually they do that when they are at the end of their contract. But this is just a joke. It's a culture. This is us. Just like here together, you belong temporarily to the family of IIHF. This is us. This is our way. We are Adidas. We are Nike. We are Coca-Cola. We are McDonald's. It's a brand, but it's more than a brand. It's an identity. And you need to create with your club that sort of feeling because it reinforces the collective trust. I'll talk to that about that. The feeling of belonging reinforces pride and confidence. My team had 4 values: respect, be a winner, think team first, be a pro. I'll come back to that later in your question if you want. In sports, you're not sure to win. In competition, whatever, you're not sure to win. But you are sure to fail if you don't work as a team. That's very important. You're sure to fail if you don't work as a team. You succeed as a team, and the challenge, this is a genuine success, is first to get people together, stick together, enjoy things together, work together. Competition in sports is harsher than ever. I mean, the national team of Czechia, they have more competitors practically every year. I mean, every team reinforces whatever they try to be better. So victory over competitors is never guaranteed. But without hard work and without strong togetherness, it's practically impossible. Let me tell you, working as a team is not a natural phenomenon. I mean, people say it's easy. No, no, no. We're all individualists, more now than even before. One for all for one, that's only words. It can work, but strength lies in numbers. We win as a team, lose alone. That expression that proves that. I mean, the acronym, you know, all the acronym of team, we achieve more together. Whatever the competition, all I can tell you is when you stick together, you increase the chance of winning. It's in business, but it's also in sports. You've got to stick together. Let me tell you, I had, this is a true anecdote. We were playing Barcelona, and they had not Messi, thanks to us. We were playing Barcelona in the semi-final of the UEFA Cup. We had drawn there 0-0, and we were playing them at home. And obviously, Barcelona had won all their games away and so on. So the press had, be careful of that. This is a kind of advice I give you. The press sometimes can build up an imaginary monster in the head of your players. Be careful. And the press were always talking about Barcelona, ignoring us totally. I mean, I had the same thing in, I remember in Lyon when we played Milan. One of the journalists was Italian. And all the pages are about the big Milan, and we were totally left out of it. And this is wrong because the players, you know, sometimes think that the opposition is bigger than what they are. And I was very angry, and I had broken a pencil when I was talking to the players. I had broken my pen in front of them 2 days ago. I was really, you know, fired up against the press. And the following day I had this idea, and really it came into my car, and the day before the game, I said, okay. I said, Steve, you break it. Okay? Good. Okay. You break these two. Okay? Good. Break this. So I told them, if we stick together, that means if we play together, they've got little chance of breaking us. The word in English is breaking and, you know, of beating us. They won't break us because the more you stick together, the more you really feel, make the opposition feel you're strong together, the less chance, the more chance you have to win. Last one. Key key ingredients. You know, one day I asked, when I was technical director, I asked a famous player, the player who holds the records of caps selection for the national team. I said, come to speak to the coaches. And because he had known a lot of coaches like Wenger, Capello, Lippi, and so forth. And I said, you know, you just tell us what really struck you in your career. And he had this word. The good coaches are coaches that give confidence. And in fact, a coach is a builder of confidence. And there's self-confidence and team confidence, obviously. The four things about the confidence. There's a lot of things to gain confidence, but one is positive feedback. Artists, singers, top-level sportsmen, they need more positive feedback. And you all know the pyramid of Maslow with the, you know, the three levels of the physiological level, security, and recognition. Now, the triangle at the top, they need more of that. I don't know why. Just let me quote you something. One of the deepest principles in life is a craving desire to be appreciated. One of the deepest principles in life is a craving desire to be appreciated. It's not me saying that, it's Jefferson, who was the president of the States in the 80s. So in the 1800s. So you need to let this goes for your children, this goes for your, I would say, the housekeeper, everybody. I mean, your secretary, everybody. Let people know that they are important, they play a part, they contribute to success, particularly the players who are not playing on a regular basis. But tell your secretary what she's done is good, is right, she will blushes, you know, her eyes will flick, she will be happy. I can tell you that you need to give, it gives confidence to have positive feedback. Second is targets. You gain more confidence when you manage to achieve the targets. When you achieve, it can be a yearly target for a season for us. It can be an intermediate target. You got 7 games in 21 days, and you want to be top of the hill every game, and or maybe you say, well, we need 15 points out of 21. And when you reach a target, stop. Say, okay, we've achieved that. There's no reason why we cannot repeat that at some stage. But it gives confidence. And the third type of target is what I call the attitude or the behavior. When you're going through a period of crisis, and I'm not going to give you a good memory, particularly for the Czechs. I mean, when you've got a crisis of confidence, give a target of quality, not quantity. Quality. Give a target of behavior. I mean, we had a player of the national team. He was very quick, and he was poor in one-on-one situation with the goalkeeper. And I told him, I said, why don't you, after the training, work a bit with the reserve goalkeeper and do that situation and, you know, get somebody to give the ball into your feet and go there. And we played Czechoslovakia a long time ago. I think it was in 1989. And we won 2-1. I think we spent the whole game in our half because they were better than us. But we had 2 breaks, and twice he was one in front of the goalkeeper, particularly the second one, and he scored, and we won 2-1. Just to give you an idea that when you work, when somebody is going through a crisis, for instance, a striker is missing many goals, don't say, okay, try to score 4 goals in a month. No, don't do that. But in fact, you better to say, try this. Try that sort of attitude, that sort of behavior, maybe it will change your game. 3, sense of belonging. I told you, the team spirit and the feeling of working for a team, it gives more energy and more confidence. We like to feel we belong to something. And the 4th one is not obvious. Tell your team you trust them. Tell your people you have faith in them. This is very important. Say and repeat that you trust them and that you've got faith in them. It gives confidence. Now, I'm going to finish up the skirt. Before I finish the skirt, I'd just like to have a word about motivation. Because I don't believe in Mr. Motivator. It lasts 2 months, 3 months, 6 months maximum. I believe in creating the conditions for motivation. Motivation is a result, a consequence, and it's a manager's responsibility to make sure everything is there. Everything is there. Even the financial, the material, the environment, you have to create them. Last anecdote. I arrive at the training ground one morning. I park my car, comes the Aston Martin DB of Michael Owen, parks his car next to me, gets out of his car, full of energy. He said, "Boss, with you, we very much look forward to training. We like it." And I was so proud, and I felt, well, I wanted him to say what I wanted to hear. In fact, I'm sure he's going to say, because of the variety of exercises, because of the variety of the drills or of the games and so on. So I said, "Oh yes, Michael, why?" "Because with you the pitch is always fantastic." True. The grass is good. Can you imagine? I went to the staff and said, "You know the last one?" I told them. They burst out laughing. But it created something. It means when you've got good condition, material condition, and the good pitch, it gives players, you know, the desire and the pleasure and really the will to go and train. And that's very important. This is a true anecdote, I can tell you. I was waiting for something else. Anyway, my 2 subs. One is flair, the coaching. Sometimes the substitutes bring you something different. It plays a part. Sometimes you have to change men. 2 is luck. And luck can be sometimes a defeat. I personally think that a defeat is sometimes an opportunity to bounce back or to question everything. But the opportunity and luck, that also happens, and it's also necessary in sport. Being together is a starting point. Working together is a progress. Winning together, you know that. It's an exciting challenge, a thrilling experience. This is I wish to you all. Thank you.